What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Ready to Love season 5, I guess, episode 2. So the crew is having brunch, and we're seeing everybody, and everybody's mingling and everything, and Tiffany is still trying to figure out why and how she ended up in the bottom, and she said she got a connection with Wiley, so she goes over to sit with Wiley. And as soon as she sits down with Wiley, then the kid sits down. Is it the kid or the Kaya? Anyway, the kid sits down, and the kid says, Wiley, you look real familiar to me. Is Chuck Brown your daddy? Now listen, I already knew that. I didn't say that in last week's episode. I think I said it on the panel. I said it in my review last week, because if they ain't bring it up, I ain't bringing it up. It is what it is. But listen, my problem ain't that because he said, I normally don't like to lead with that because, I get it, right? I definitely get it. But here's where Demetrius fell all the way off. Is it Demetrius? Fell all the way off my radar. He said, who is that? Bruh! Listen. I know you were in the military and you're not from this area. Like, I get that. But if you have been living in D.C., in black D.C., for longer than a year, you are supposed to know who Chuck Brown is. If you have been to a cookout, if you have been to a club, if you have been to a day party, hell, if you've been walking down the street and you stopped at a red light next to somebody, you have heard Chuck Brown. You know who Chuck Brown is. They got a whole park in D.C. named after Chuck Brown. They have a day in D.C. named after Chuck Brown. How you don't know who Chuck Brown is? Now, again, I get it that everybody that's on this show is not a native Washingtonian. But I said what I said. If you are in black D.C. and you have been living here longer than a year, you're supposed to know who Chuck Brown is. I don't accept that. Moving on. I just need a minute to come off of that because I cannot. Anyway, Tommy brings everybody together and Tommy says, "Hey, how you doing? How you liking it? Everybody having a good time? Good, whatever." And he said, "Listen, here come the first curveball. Bloop, here's coming. There are going to be 2 blind dates this week. We're going to bring a new guy into the group and a new girl into the group, right? Lady. I keep saying girls, lady into the group. And we're going to pick one of the singles to go out on the blind date with the guy and to go out on a blind date with the lady. So he picks Ace to go out on a blind date with the guy. And he picks Laverne to go out on a blind date with the woman. And he said, you're going to come back, report to the group. And this is a female elimination week, so the men have the power. Okay, all right. So before the brunch is over, they're done. But Clifton said, "No, I'm not done because I haven't had a moment with my Joy." Okay, and he said that I'm enjoying her. We getting to know each other, and I needed some time with her. I've talked to some of these other ladies, and that's been cool. But Joy is the one who I've been waiting to talk to all day. And Joy said, what woman doesn't want a man to say, hey, I want more time with you? So she said it was definitely flattering. She knows she has a connection with Clifton, and she's enjoying that. She's definitely enjoying that. And so they had like a little moment. It was cool. It was whatever. Now, here's another thing I found very interesting. In this week's episode, they introduced Ace, and underneath with her name and her occupation, they wrote yoga instructor. I know for a fact last week they had philanthropist. Because I wrote it down because I was like, philanthropist, that just means she got money to give away. I said it in my review. Y'all, Ready to Love, y'all not going to make me think I'm crazy. I know what the hell y'all said. So how she go from being a philanthropist to a yoga instructor in a week? Y'all playing games with me in these jobs. So the first blind date that we see, we meet. I'm sorry, it's Laverne's blind date. It's Laverne's date with the blind woman. With the woman that's coming on the show as a blind date. Child, she not blind. Her name is Carmen. She's a brand manager. She calls herself a boss. Now, I think that is one of the most overused terms. I'm a boss. But Carmen really thinks she's a boss. She has one child. She's from Ashburn, Virginia, but she's in the military. She's been in the military. Um, and her and Laverne seem to hit it off. Laverne has two daughters. He's been divorced for 10 years. And he's also former military Air Force. He lets her know that, he used to be into bodybuilding, but that he goes to the gym. He said, she's curvy and I like that. And he said, I've been to the gym. I go to the gym. She said I go to the gym 5 days a week. He was like, I go 6 days a week. She was like, so is this a competition? Like, is that what we doing? I mean, she was grabbing his booty, and they was definitely getting to know each other. Okay, they was definitely getting to know each other. Okay, but they seemed like they had a really good date. They were flirty. That's all. I mean, cause I don't want to. They were flirty. Okay, they were flirty, but they definitely seemed like it was a really nice date, and they got along well, with each other. They did. Um, then we saw Ace go out on her blind date with Cornelius. Now Cornelius is 41. He is a real estate agent. Now listen, this is what I wrote in my notes. I wrote DC. Listen, the minute Cornelius opened his mouth, I knew he was DC all day, born and bred. I could hear it in his voice. I could hear it in his tone. I could see it in his affect. Baby, Cornelius is DC. Now, he said that his nickname is Cornbread because he's a thickum. He's a cutie. He's a little thickum. He's a cutie. And he said he's looking for some corn muffins. Corn muffins. Oh, corn muffin shop. And again, him and Ace had a really good day. He said that, he's all about mental health. He said that mental health is important. He's one of those guys that definitely feels like that, black people, we need to definitely be in therapy. He said, listen, because we all got a little PTSD just from being black, okay? And of course, this gave Ace exactly what she needed to hear, honey, because she started talking about, her journey and how she meditates and mental health and the yoga and all of that. And they had themselves a really good day. Baby, Cornelius was like, let me get that phone number. He pulled his phone out. Let me go and get them digits. I'm here for all of this, okay? So they definitely had like a little connection. So then we had a couple of group dates because again, it's the guys elimination, and they haven't really had a whole lot of one-on-one time, although you could definitely tell that these people been talking on the phones and they've been having some sidebars, okay? But the first group date we had, Paul arranged the date, and we had Paul, I'm sorry, Zakaya, Clifton, Joy. Was Joy there? Yeah, Joy was there. Was Joy there? I don't. Hold on, because I have my. Maybe, wait a minute, hold on. Let me pause. No, Paul went on a date with Joy. Is that what it was? Child, it was a lot going on in this episode. It was a lot of dating. And I don't understand my own notes. Hold on. But they had a group. They had this group date. Hold on, let me get myself together, child. Okay, I was right. My notes were right. Paul and Joy went out on a date. And, Joy was like, listen, I have a connection with, Clifton. I really feel like I have a connection, but I also know that this is a journey. And I need to be open to meeting other people and seeing if there are any other connections that are there. She said at the original mixer, I talked to Paul, but I felt like he might have been holding back a little bit. So this would be a good opportunity for us to kind of talk and see if there's more there. And they seem like they had a good time, but they're definitely, she ain't feel no sparks, right? There were no sparks on her end. So then Clifton went on a date with Dakaya. And they had a good time. They had a good date. They talked about premarital sex and whether it was important. And Dakaya was like, listen, I'm at my sexual peak and I am ready. Okay? I'm going to drive the car before I take it off the lot kind of thing. And Clifton was like, well, I'm definitely here for that. That's important to me too. Now, something Clifton said at the end of this date that I don't think I like too much. And I don't know if he meant it the way he said it, but I don't like how he said it. But what he said was that he liked the Kaya, but again, no big spark. He said he still has his number one connection is with Joy, but he can have fun with Dakaya. What that mean, Clifton? You mean like a friends with benefits have fun? You mean like we could go out and hang out? We go to the movies, go to a basketball game, have fun? Like, what did that mean? And the reason why it hit me that way is because y'all had just got finished having a conversation about premarital sex. And I know things are edited, so that might not be the exact same thing that y'all had just got finished talking about, but that's what we saw. So for you to be like, well, Joy is still my main connection, but we can have fun. I was like, what that mean? But Clifton, so far, I like you. You haven't given me any reason to feel like you're not a gentleman, so I'm going to just go ahead and feel like you ain't mean it the way it seemed like it was edited, okay? Then we had the group. We had a group date where we actually ended up having two group dates. The first group date, they were at like a little, I think the place was called Comet. It looked like it was like a game room type situation. And we had Paul and Cornelius. So this was a great opportunity for some of the other ladies to meet Cornelius, the new guy. We had Sabrina, Tiffany, and I believe that was Dakaya on this particular date. Tiffany was a little extra, and again, not extra. Tiffany was a little extra. See, I'm trying to be very careful because I don't want to start labeling people too early in this whole process, right? I don't want to be like, oh, you just don't like. I don't care. I'm just saying Tiffany was coming off a little, but I wasn't mad at Tiffany when she asked Cornelius, did he want to be married? I felt like Cornelius's answers were very open-ended, and when you get to a certain point in your life and you know what you want, I don't think Tiffany was wrong for saying, well, I know I want to be married. I want to be somebody's wife. Now, Cornelius said he felt like she was a little forceful because she said it because they was playing ping pong, and she said it with the paddle on the table. But I feel like she was just emphasizing her point. I don't really feel like she was wrong because, again, you get to a point in your life and you know what you want. Like, you know what you want. But it kind of turned him off. I can't tell somebody how to be offended, okay? That sort of turned him off. Now, on the other side of the room, we had Paul talking to Sabrina, and him and Sabrina were talking, and Sabrina was kind of like letting him know that, you know, she felt like he still wasn't, that he might have been holding back a little something with him. And then Tiffany comes over there, and Paul starts asking these really weird questions. And again, I'm kind of understand where Tiffany was feeling like, what? He was like, do you like spoken word? And she was like, not really, but I mean, I would try it. Okay, well, if you were doing a spoken word, what would the name of your show be? Like, I'm giving him the same look that Tiffany gave him, because I'm like, what? That don't even make. If I was doing what? Then he asked her something else, and it was just very like, let me ask you these like personality test type questions. And I understood why Tiffany felt some kind of way about it. It was like, bruh, like, let's just talk. Like, we here, we on a date. It's a group of us. How's the weather? How was your week at work? Like, bruh, like, let's chill out. Then we had another group date. They met at the little putt-putt place. I think it's the same place we saw last season, the indoor putt-putt, which is actually a nice spot. But anyway, we had Tori, Joy, Ace, Carmen, and Clifton. Now, Clifton said that he saw Carmen and he thought that she was really nice looking and everything until he saw them contacts on her eyes. And he said that, you know, them blue eyes looking at him, he looked like he was looking at Jesus. And then Carmen said that, you know, Tori seemed like a nice guy, but she wasn't really feeling the dress. She was like, you know, no judgment, but judgment. Listen, life is all about preferences. If you ain't crazy about the dreads, I can't be mad at you about not being crazy about the dreads. There's some men that don't like women who wear weaves. There's some women who don't like men with too many tattoos. Listen, we got to get away from being offended because somebody don't like what you like or somebody don't like what you feel like they should like. If she don't like the dress, she don't like the dress. And the reason why I say that, because I can already hear some people now talking about, oh my goodness, how she gonna say that? Listen, if she don't like the dress, she don't like the damn dress. Anyway, so, as the night went on, Ace, because Ace was there too. I don't know, did I say Ace's name? Yeah, I did. Ace sort of pulled off to the side. She said, she felt like everybody was sort of clicking up. And so she went to refresh her drink and she just sort of hung out at the bar for a little while. And Clifton went to go check on her, and I can respect that. He said, I wanted to check on you, make sure everything was cool. And she said, no, I'm good. She said, I'm all right. He said, okay, because, I didn't know if anything was wrong or if you was feeling some kind of way. She said, no, I was just trying to give everybody their space. People were kind of talking and having one-on-one conversations, and I wanted to respect people's, space and energy or whatever. She said, that's something about me that people just need to understand, that I'm okay with being by myself. Like, sometimes I'm cool with just going off to the side and kind of doing my own thing. Like, I'm okay with that. Clifton and, Joy, they found their way back to each other. They was flirty, doing their own thing. Tori said he wasn't really feeling Carmen all that much. I mean, wasn't a bad person, just wasn't his cup of tea kind of thing, and I don't think Ace really connected with either one of them, but everybody seemed like they had a good time. Everybody had a good time. So now we're back in the lounge with the guys, and they down at DC Prime. Listen, DC Prime is a nice spot. It's nice, expensive spot. But that's where they had the men's lounge, and they got to talking about, how it goes. They deliberating. The names at the bottom ended up being Ace and Tiffany. And I kind of felt like Tiffany was going to be the one to go home because she was already in the bottom once before. Like, it ain't but so many times they're going to save you, okay? Back-to-back weeks. But Wiley said he wasn't really feeling Joy because Ace, because he felt like, the whole yoga thing. He was like, I walked away from a conversation from her and all I knew was that she loved yoga. Like, I didn't really get anything out of her. Now, Laverne loved him some Ace. And Laverne was saying how, she was Oprah, Beyonce, Michelle Obama, Maya Angelou, the mothers of our ancestors, like, all wrapped into one. And I was like, what? Like, what did she say to you that have you, like, what? She Oprah, Michelle, Beyonce. Bruh, okay. Laverne nose is wide open for Miss Ace, okay? Of course, Joy's name was at the top. Sabrina's name was at the top. So it ended up being a conversation with Joy and a conversation with Tiffany. And Wiley took Joy out, and they had a conversation, and they actually did get into talking about some other things. And Wiley was like, the guys and I talked, and like, this is the Joy. I keep saying Joy. She looks like a Joy to me. I'm sorry. She said, this is the Ace that the rest of us want to get to know. Like, we think that you're ready to continue this journey, but open up. Like, we want to know, like, this was a great conversation I had with you today. So then Paul took Tiffany out. And Tiffany was like, well, I'm glad for us to have another date. Maybe we could start fresh. Maybe we could just talk and, not feel like you were like, questioning me and, like it's not, and so Paul started doing it again. He started asking her all these questions again. And she was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. She was like, I feel like I'm in a damn business meeting. Like, why can't we just talk? So then she started throwing a bunch of questions at him. And he was like, well, what? And she was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, let's just talk. So I guess at that point, Paul was like, child, ain't nobody got time for this. He said, listen, the men talk, you ain't ready to love. Tiffany said, who ain't ready to love? He said, you. She said, he said, well, can I get a hug? She was like, no, you can't. And I'm ready to go. Where's my Uber? I said, y'all gonna get enough of this angry exit. Y'all know what the game is, okay? And I know it's not easy and all that, but you signed up for that. If y'all don't calm y'all asses down, girls, ladies. Anyway, that was this episode. We'll see next week because the ladies were in charge, honey. And we're going to see what happens. It looks like they're going to introduce 2 more new people next week. So we're going to see what it is. All right? I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.